This is episode 2 of the Quantum Leap podcast. My name is Cory Engelhart, owner of Quantum Creations. We are a video first creative agency, and I'm sitting with one of my friends who's also a video guy. His name is Evan Farrar, owner of Otto Digital over here in Asbury Park, NJ. And we've collaborated on a number of projects. He showed me the ropes before I even had an LLC in my name. We sat, got coffee. We've traveled together. We've had quite an experience the last couple of years working on some projects together, getting to know each other, become friends. And here we are this is your studio, the Player Coach Studios.
Yeah, wild, right?
So I'd love to just have you introduce yourself and why we're sitting here today.
Yeah, totally. Thank you, dude. My name is Evan Farrar. I'm the founder of Otto Digital based out of Asbury Park. We're here at Player Coach Studios today, which is it's a business that I'm a partner in with two friends of mine, two CBA guys, Bart Henderson and Andrew Stadelberger. We're here in Red Bank, New Jersey, right over on Bridge Ave at the Galleria. We built a little podcast studio, production studio for local businesses and creators to come through and just get their message out there. So, man, glad to have you here too.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first question I want to start with is like something I've really admired about what you do is like you tend to put people first, right? Like in everything that you're doing for your clients, for your friends, like what is that for you, and like what drives you to do what you do and like actually put people first and help people and like kind of put your gift out into the world and be able to collaborate with people in that way?
Just a reflex, really. There's honestly like not much thought that goes into it, being people first. That definitely comes from like family and faith and, my parents and stuff. But you've actually asked me that a couple of times, like if I've like referred you business or I've had something come across my plate and I've been like, oh dude, like this is right up Cory's alley. This is even better for him. And you've asked me a couple of times and I don't know, it's just been a reflex. I don't know. I feel like if you can, you should. I'm cool where I'm at right now. I can scale up. I could scale down a little bit if I want. Always trying to scale up. But there's plenty of seats at the table, especially in business. Plenty of seats at the table, plenty of business to go around, plenty of opportunities. So just try not to have like a scarcity mindset. And it's way more fun we can do with other people.
And how do you find yourself now, like, being a leader? Because like you're putting a team together, you're collaborating with like pretty established people in the world of business here in New Jersey, and actually starting to like build something bigger than yourself. Not that it wasn't bigger than yourself, but like how do you find yourself stepping into that leadership role and like being able to like have a vision and hold people to it?
Learning. I'm definitely learning because I've always been somebody who's been coached and I've been very coachable. If anything, I try to like lead by example. I try not to really like be somebody who's barking orders at anybody. So honestly, it's a bit of a shift for me. Mm-hmm. I've had employees for 5-6 years now, but now as we've grown and we've got even more, I do have to step into more of a leadership role, and I've got to more than ever like be a man of my word. If I say I'm going to do something, now I've got like 7 people who are relying on me to come follow through with what I said. So I'm stepping into it in a bit of a new way. I'm learning. Like, dude, I learned from you. We were on a shoot yesterday. Like, I'm always curious to hear, what you're figuring out, what you're struggling with. But it's fun all the while. And
the struggles are pretty universal. And I feel like that's a big part too, is like why we've become such close friends over the last couple of years. Is like, we're going through the same shit, It's like you have whatever problems we're having in business, considering our businesses are so close, right? Like we haven't looked at each other as competitors really ever, right? It's like never. One of my first main clients was like you referred to me, It's like and then I was traveling across America with Joseph Hughes from Contractor Dynamics, and like I was like, Evan facilitate that, but Evan could have done that, right? And that's part of why I asked you that first question. It's like, we've been able to work through the same problems together, collaborate on projects now together, and they're starting to scale up, which is awesome. Getting into more like high level production stuff, which is like super fun for me to see come together. And like, it's like there's no lack, like you said. Like there's no lack. There's enough seats at the table. And you and I were having a conversation yesterday with Brian, who we brought on set, and we were telling. He was like, is there enough businesses? We're like, dude, like there's an infinite amount of businesses to work with. And it's nice to be able to share those perspectives with somebody that believes in that abundance, that believes in prosperity for everybody, that sees the opportunity for yourself, right? It's like you create opportunity and find opportunity for yourself, but you're also seeing it where other people can fit in. Like that's a beautiful thing. And like you mentioned before, faith too. And what role does that have to play in like what you're actually doing from like a professional perspective?
From a professional perspective, I mean, it's just kind of embedded in me. Like I grew up in the church. I grew up very involved in the church that, I grew up going to. My parents are now like kind of elders in the church. Colts Neck community. It's right over in Colts Neck, not super far from here. But we just celebrated our 50th anniversary at the church, and my parents have been there for 40 plus years. And it grew from, 30 people to now there are thousands of people, multiple services every Sunday with 300 people at each one, Saturday services. So it's just always been a part of my life, I guess kind of reflex in a way too. It's just always been there. Whether it's been, whether it's been at the forefront of my life where I've been like, very passionate about it and living by it, or whether I've been, it's been more of like a quiet hum in the background, but like still a constant hum. It's always been there. So yeah, I mean, whether I'm super aware of how it molded me or not, it without a doubt did. And it shaped the people around me who shaped me, which is also important. So.
And the first time we really dove into faith or self-awareness and God and these different deeper topics was when we went to Vegas. Yeah. You and I ended up just having, we were eating ceviche and eating steak, and we were just diving deep into like all these different topics and like what does your relationship with God look like? Like, do you talk to God? Do you like, is that something that you're actively practicing beyond just your time in the church?
Yeah, absolutely. And I remember like specifically at that time, I was going through a bit of I guess maybe my journey's been kind of interesting, but probably not too dissimilar from a lot of other people. Like, growing up in the faith, you don't really know much else. You don't question much else. You just kind of accept it, take it as face value. And then once you get to be 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 years old, you're maybe introduced to new lines of thinking. You're introduced to new people and new theologies or whatever. And naturally, you just kind of, you feel that you owe it to yourself if you have like intellectual honesty to look into things a little bit more. So I think with me, I never really like doubted my faith. I never doubted God. Never doubted like the existence of him. I always just had a harder time like defining it. And I'm somebody who I do place a heavy emphasis on the ability to articulate. And with faith, I found, and kind of long-winded answer to your question, but comes full circle. I kind of found, when I turned like 20, right around there, that I was being met with a lot of other people who they weren't Christians, but they were very articulate in their positions, countering Christianity, countering any kind of like theology. And they were very articulate, and I quickly understood that the Sunday school answer of just answering Jesus, like with, every question that you're met with, that's not going to cut it. Like, these are smart people out there, and you owe it to yourself, you owe it to them, but you also owe it to God to be able to articulate your faith a little bit better, whether that's from how you feel to, any kind of historical, biblical precedent that has been set, just being able to articulate. So I remember you asking me some questions that I had honestly never really thought of at the time. You were asking me, what do you think heaven is like? What do you think? Just like specifics of things. And there were things that I hadn't really thought too much about. I would say over the past, that was what, like 2 years ago?
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, almost 2 years ago. I I would say since then I've probably embarked on a little bit more of an academic study, an academic journey, I shouldn't say less of like a faith-driven journey, but I really felt like I owed it to myself, God, family, others who I interacted with to try to have a better understanding. So I'm still not the kind of person who's like I'll never be on a street corner like preaching or Bible thumping anybody. Like I keep it pretty close to the chest and personal.
Yeah.
But that has developed a lot. So to answer your question, I mean, I was praying out loud on the way here.
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, that's awesome. It's what I find is like truth seeking is more important than anything, and whatever medium you want to take that in is interesting, right? And it's like there's so many of these different faces that theology can take, right? Or like you could take Christianity, you could take Buddhism, you could take Hinduism, you could take all these different religions and philosophies, right? And they all have a different depiction of like our own self, right? And then also like what's above, right? And a lot of them tend to say like what's above is also within, right? And I think that's sort of like what kickstarted a lot of the conversations we've had. And like, I just find it fascinating how people can turn their philosophy into like their own practice, right? And it's like, there's no right or wrong way to be able to, whether it's practicing faith, right? And it's praying and meditating and like that's one side of things, but it's also just like how you show up in the world, like how you can help other people and provide value to people. And it's like, that's as much of a religious practice as anything else, because you can get up on stage and preach to other people, but the second that you start taking advantage of other people in your actions, like
you're missing the whole point.
Exactly. So kind of coming back to the idea of like truth, right? Is like is that something that's been in your mind as you've kind of dove maybe into that journey over the last couple of years?
Truth, yeah, maybe a bit. I will say the more that I question things and kind of stress test things, I do think the stronger my faith does get. So yeah,
truth. It's interesting. So question for you, kind of off of the theology. So you do videos for everybody, right? It's like you do videos and photos and you're in web design now, and you're basically full scale digital marketing at this point with Otto, right? So, but you don't really share much of yourself, right? So you don't put yourself out there as much. And is there any particular reason behind that you don't share as much as because you're so good at it for other people, but I don't know. Is it something that you have a desire to do for yourself, or
like build a personal brand?
Yeah,
not really. No, I've always liked being behind the scenes. Not that there's. I wouldn't say there's a big reason behind it or anything. I've always been a little bit more of a behind the scenes guy. If anybody asks for like, hey, like where could I see your work? I'll just kind of point them to our portfolio, which is just out there with a bunch of customers and clients and businesses that we work with that people may or may not even know that we do that for them. But I mean, like I could lie and say like, yeah, I try to stay behind the scenes because, I want to build this to a point where, people aren't asking for me, but there was never that like idea of it going forward. Cause that's like a piece of advice that like I'll give some newer business owners, like, don't name your company after you, because then they're always going to be asking for you. But if you name it something else and you remove yourself a little bit, you give yourself a little bit more freedom. So I could lie and say that was like the motive, but it wasn't. I don't know. It's just kind of a preference, I guess.
It's just staying behind the scenes for you. But you're also open to being on camera. Like you do podcasts here, you'll hop on a podcast with me, and it's not like it's something you're apprehensive towards, but it's not something that you put an emphasis on in your life.
Right. Yeah. I've been lucky that like my network and my book of business has just grown very organically over the years. Like I got started in the business world when I was like 19. So I've got like 12 years under my belt of networking, and that kind of self-fulfills itself. I totally get it. Like a lot of people who are building personal brands are doing that because they're trying to monetize themselves or get their brand out there even further. And like, I love that. I love seeing people do that. I love helping people do that too. Just for me, I've just kind of been in a position where I haven't really needed to do any kind of marketing or advertising or branding for myself. It's fallen on my lap, fortunately. So I'm just kind of keeping it that way for now.
No, and that's awesome, because like the way that you put out yourself into the world and like the energy you put out ends up returning to you in the same way that you're so open and ready to like connect people and like put your clients first and put other people first. Like that's why people are so ready to refer you business. And you told me yesterday, you were like, dude, like almost every client I get is just like a referral. Yeah. And like to be able to flourish on that is like a beautiful thing, to know that you're delivering quality work for people and like putting people first. And it's also interesting because I have I've had a similar experience, but also like I see myself wanting to be on camera. I see myself wanting to be on camera just as much as I want to be behind it, because ultimately my passion for being behind the camera came from me wanting to be in front of it first. Like I wanted to do backflips on my skis, and I wanted to make stupid skits and put them on the morning announcements in high school. And I wanted to make cool videos of myself and speak online. And like a big part of why I even do what I do is like, ultimately I had a TikTok page that went kind of viral back in the day. And I was just talking about conspiracy theories and spirituality and all these different things. And obviously it ties back though. It's like, we're doing essentially a very similar endeavor, right? But it's like, we have a very similar philosophy behind it, but it's like that in practice, it's a little bit different. Is there anything that you've regretted in the past 12 years of business that you've been in business or just in the last 12 years? Like, is there anything that you have regrets of since you started doing life on your own and like living life on your own terms?
Yeah. I think about this all the time. People who are like, I live life with no regrets. It's like, yeah, right. I wish that I could have done things differently yesterday, this morning even. So yeah, definitely I do have regrets. Specifically, I don't know, specifically business-wise. I mean, I've got personal regrets, of course, relationship stuff, or, you know, how you talk to somebody in this social setting or whatever. But yeah, I think maybe now it's easy in hindsight, but like having, I think maybe I wish that I brought people together more to collaborate together the way that you're doing now. I wish that we did that. I wish that I did that a little bit sooner. I wish that I was actually doing that. I wish that I maybe built a bigger local team. I like that because I like the path that you're on. I like these other agencies locally that are doing great things with guys or girls like in-house. I like that. Maybe that's not a regret, but maybe that's just something that I could see myself. I would be interested in trying that if I could turn back time.
Like a correction on the path, though. Because it's not like, I mean, you're still young, right? How old are you? You're
31.
You're 31. So it's like we have so much time. Something I've been following, I posted about on LinkedIn about it this week, is like the seasons of life are such an important aspect of this progression and of us as individuals. Like how we blossom into individuals is like we have that period of like 0 to 20 when we're in the springtime and we're sort of learning and we're figuring out who we are. And then 20 to 40 is establishing yourself and building relationships and figuring out what it is that you're passionate about and how are you going to make money and what is your family going to look like, and you're making these decisions. And that's sort of the summer when spring and turns and you start making money, and then you have the fall now, and it's like, wow, like we have some money. We have the leaves are turning. Yeah. It's a beautiful time. Your kids are starting to grow up potentially. And then after that fall, that like you start to impart that wisdom, right? It's like after, and you have that winter season where it's getting cold, your skin's getting wrinkly, your family, your kids are growing up. You might have grandkids at that point, but like you're able to impart that wisdom to other people of like all those other seasons. And I think about that, and it's like you're only halfway through that summer season of like building and figuring out what you're going to do. And like, I see that whole period of like as still a learning period. It's like we have so much time here.
And there's no blueprint.
No, there's no blueprint. I was having a conversation with my girlfriend yesterday and she was asking me like what keeps me motivated every day. She was like, how do you wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and just like do what you do every day? And I was like, to be honest, like I think about the future. Like, what do I want? What do I want my family to look like? My business to look like? My home to look like? My friends to look like?
Yeah.
I think about those things and like that keeps me inspired, not just motivated. It keeps me inspired because I think inspiration is more powerful than motivation.
Yeah.
Do you find a balance between inspiration and motivation, and does one drive you a little bit more in what you're doing?
Yeah, inspiration, motivation, discipline. A lot of it just comes down to discipline. Just like you have a lot of work to do. Sometimes you're not going to be motivated to do it. Sometimes it could even be hard to be, inspired to do it. You know what the long-term goal is, but when you have a task list of like 30 things in front of you, then you just have to be disciplined and just get it done. But yeah, inspiration, motivation. I would say probably, I'll be honest. I hadn't really thought of like inspiration too much. It probably has been more motivation and discipline, but yeah, inspiration's a good one too.
What's kept you doing what you do for now? You've been doing it for a number of years. Yeah. What's kept you doing what you do every day? Like what keeps you waking up and plugging away and doing that?
I would say it's more of a service, like to the world, like that gets me out of bed. I started my company in 2019, and like 3 months later is when COVID hit. So it's the worst possible time to start a business. And I've always had a heart for small businesses and business owners, just like, where I grew up, like, very blue collar area, Ocean County. I've always had a passion for them because we always hear, small businesses are the backbone of America, but it's like, all right, what does that actually mean? Like, do you understand? Does a normal person understand like just how much their lives are affected by small businesses and what small businesses are and what they do? Small businesses aren't. A business owner isn't like automatically rich. Like people often think that if you own a business that you're just like printing money. It's not like that. So as it is, I had a soft spot for small businesses, local businesses in particular. COVID immediately happens. Everybody's getting crushed. Like these small businesses are just being absolutely decimated. And that's when like we really kicked it into gear and we're like, all right, who knows how much money we're going to make over the next couple of years? We're just literally trying to stop the bleeding for these businesses. So we're going to over-deliver. We're going to undercharge. We're going to, overwork ourselves so that we can deliver for these local businesses who ultimately are the ones who are, if we can grow these businesses, they're the ones who are hiring within the community. They're the ones who are, putting food on, the tables of families in the community. So starting my business and then COVID happening right away really solidified kind of the service mentality that I had. And I have like some of my own goals and aspirations and whatnot, but I really feel like my purpose is to be of service to the world. And I feel like I've kind of carved out that niche with the small, local, like hyper-local business community.
And we've talked about that as well as like, I think I've got ideas for myself and my business is like, I want to help the people that are local, but I also understand the opportunity that's there of the people that are already reaching on quite a lot of people, right? Yeah. Like how can we service the people that are in every state, that are in 50 states, that are large and corporate? It's like, how do I get in with these guys? How do I provide them value? Because that's intriguing to me. And then also you have the perspective is like there are all these people that need help, right? It's like a lot of these local businesses, like they need help. And I started my business similar reason. I remember what inspired me to start was like driving down the road. I went to go get a bagel or a coffee, and I'm looking up these businesses on Google, and you go on their website and you look at their Google My Business profile, and you go on their Instagram, and it's just like, what are these people doing? It's 2024.
Yeah, it's like you're invisible.
Yeah. And you do a great job of like helping those people like be present. Like now when you look these people up online, they're there, which is great. It's like people need to be visible. People need to be found. Like these local businesses, a lot of them struggle, and I find it's beautiful that you're able to so intentionally put them first and like be able to help them.
Appreciate it.
And you ended up coming into your business pretty organically, right? Because you were doing real estate before.
Yeah.
And how did that transition happen?
Yeah, I was like working in the marketing department for a real estate company, and then pretty much went out on my own. The plan was to go work for another organization, contribute there. And then almost immediately I just had a ton of people hitting me up saying, hey, we heard you're not with so-and-so anymore. Could you consult, do web development, videography, design? And I was just like, sure. So I just said yes to everything. And before I knew it, I was like, shit, I got to start an LLC. I was like, I got a business.
Yeah.
So then, it was.
That's pretty cool. It's nice when something like that can happen organically rather than like forced.
Yeah.
When some people have an idea and it takes a lot of energy and effort to like even get something off the ground. The fact that you were kind of just thrown into it. You're like, well, I guess I need an LLC.
Right. Pretty much, yeah.
Outside of the business and like what brings you joy?
Oh, family and friends for sure. My nieces, just had a second niece. My nieces, my nephews, super tight family. Just being with family and friends, doing fun things with them, playing lacrosse, going to wrestling matches, disc golf. Pretty low maintenance circle that I'm a part of. But we just enjoy each other's company. A little bit of surfing. We've never gone surfing, but surfing. Yeah.
Huh. And do you have any other creative outlets outside of what you do with work?
Maybe music. So maybe like guitar. Yeah. I like playing guitar. Done that for a while.
Yeah.
For my dad. Yeah.
You how long ago did you learn that?
Well, I was probably like 7 when I really picked it up. My parents were like the worship team for our church. And I was like the audio engineer in the back. Okay. So I'm like, 5 years old in the sound room doing the slideshow for the lyrics so the whole congregation can see it, and then doing the audio. But my parents have always, played instruments and sang. We would have awesome Christmas parties where the entire block, the whole neighborhood would come over to our house. My parents, not all of their friends, but a number of their friends, played piano, bass guitar, drums. So they would bring over some kind of percussion, and we would have 60 people in our house just blasting Christmas music on the piano and guitar. We would just have a band in our living room, and those are some of my favorite memories. But so music has just always been kind of around. And is that something you're picking up your guitar? Do you sing with it? Like what is that? Yeah. Just a little acoustic, a little Martin LX1A. Okay. I just keep it out of the case, and the walls in my apartment are pretty thin, so I'm not wailing on it, and I'm not singing super loud. But I'll keep it acoustic. Awesome. Well, we've talked about playing. I don't think we've never played together. I know. We got to get together, because guitar is one of those things for me I love. Something that fuels me is being able to pour out myself into these different creative mediums. So whether it's guitar, or whether it's in my journal, or whether it's a video, or whether it's a podcast like this, having different outlets to be able to pour my creativity into is super unique. Yeah. Do you have, is that something, is creativity and
holding that to that and like expressing yourself something that you ever think about?
I'll be honest, not really. And even in like the realm of business, like I own a marketing agency. I do a lot of creative work, design, video, photography. But I don't really consider myself like a very creative person, surprisingly. So I couldn't lie and say like creativity and like expression and art is something that's like super important to me. I enjoy it, but it's not like a necessity for me, I guess. Mm-hmm. Like that I express myself in a certain way. Yeah.
Is it something you would be interested in leaning into in yourself? Like, I feel like every time we talk, like I feel like you have like very unique perspectives and like values and like even just like us sitting here talking is like, like I appreciate the way you look at the world, right? And like, is there any sort of inclination for you to be able to pour that into something? It's like unique
Possibly.
To you.
Say again?
That's like unique to you.
Unique
you know
to
what
me?
I'm saying? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'm sure there is. Maybe I haven't found it. I would love to hop up on stage with like a band one time and just play like backup guitar. Like I've always thought about that. Like I have little like bucket list items like that I would love to do. Like a couple of like my team members or employees are in the Philippines and one of them leads a church out there. And I was telling him the other day, like, dude, on my bucket list is to come out to the Philippines and like play a song with the worship band out in Bacolod City. Like at their church, like little like bucket list items like that I guess do involve creativity. But that's pretty much the depth of it.
So what else is on your bucket list? What's a couple of ones that stand out?
Man, putting me on the spot. I don't know. I guess now that I think about it, maybe they're not like real creative pursuits, but like, I don't know, bucket list, I guess just like general bucket list things would be like, I want to either run or fund like a lacrosse or a wrestling club. Like that's like a lofty goal of mine. Like a local wrestling club or lacrosse club. That's one of them. Yeah, like we said, the music thing. I don't know. Did you ever watch The Buried Life? Do you remember that show? It was short-lived. It was very short-lived. It was on MTV, I want to say, but it was like a group of like 6 dudes. And they just had a list of things that they wanted to do before they died. And they were all over the place. It was like, we want to throw a 1,000-person rager. So they would document themselves doing that, throwing like this massive party. But then they would also I think they would do more like wholesome things. Either way, I just didn't know if you were familiar with that show. It was called The Buried Life, and I loved it. And yeah, it's off the air now.
Is there one person in your life that's like made a huge impact on you and shaped some of your perspectives?
Yeah, there's a bunch. Draw inspiration from everybody. I mean, my dad probably number one. Like if I was to like name my hero, it would without a doubt be my dad. Dude, I get inspiration from so many people. Like you would probably be surprised how much I like look to you, without even asking you about things, how much like I look at you and observe you and like take little things that you do that I really like. Bart Henderson, Bart. Doug Hammond is one of my best friends, an old wrestling teammate. My brothers, my mom, I don't know. I just draw inspiration from a lot of people, I guess. Pick little things, eat the meat, spit the bones.
Well, I appreciate you putting me on there. Yeah. But it is interesting, and a philosophy that I've kind of adopted is that we become. They say you are what you eat. It's kind of off of that philosophy. You are what you eat, right? You become what you consume.
Yeah.
And whether it's books or whether it's podcasts or whether it's TV or whether it's the people you surround yourself with, like especially the people, it's like we have a piece of those people in us, right? It's like the more time we spend together, the more Evan comes through me, the more Cory comes through you. Yeah. The more we grasp onto a piece of all these people that we spend time with, and I find it interesting that each one of us ends up being the sum total of all the people that we spend time with and the things that we consume. We regurgitate those things and we put our own unique perspectives on them. And the way that we communicate and express ourselves ends up really, it is us. It's our own compilation. We're just a mutt of all these different people that we've interacted with. So like you can find yourself, I'm sure, like when you say something, you're like, oh, that's maybe something like my dad would have said, or that's something Bart would have said, or that's something like, I'm just thinking of people on your list, but it's,
I mean, I even just said it right there. I said, eat the meat, spit the bones. That's a quote that somebody who I no longer work with, or like, we kind of had a falling out, but like credit where credit's due. He gave me a lot of great advice, things that I even still repeat today. So like, I mean, even people who you might not get on with, you could pull value from anybody.
Yeah. I mean, it goes to show that like everybody has something, right? And we can take something, we can learn something from everybody. And that's a reason I wanted to start this podcast was like, and we started it talking about faith and truth, right? And like, ultimately I find myself to be somebody who wants to get to you're never gonna get to the bottom of life, but I want to understand the depth of life and reality in itself as much as possible. And I find that the truest way to do that is like to see how other people look at the world, to ask people about their unique perspectives. And I keep saying the word perspectives and psychology, right? But it's like each of all the way that we look at the world is like so unique, and we can adopt that ourselves and like begin to implement that, right? It's like and it's like as easy as like when you just noticing the things that you appreciate about somebody and like genuinely appreciate, right? And like I try and do it often. I try and find something when I'm spending time with somebody. I try and find something that really sticks out to me about that person. I say, I love that. Like I love that you do that. Like I started the podcast by saying, I love that like you put people first, and I take inspiration from that. And like that's something that I actively try and do more of. And it's like it can be as simple as that, or it can be a variety. If I love the way that this individual puts his family first. Okay, like I love the way, and we draw inspiration from our surroundings, and like we can create the life that we want simply by picking up little things from each and every person, right? And it's it allows us to create a life worth living ultimately. Yeah. Like, is there anything that like in particular that you've picked up from somebody else that really is like shaped, like a specific that's like helped shape the way you look at the world? Maybe in that regards.
Yeah, I don't know.
You don't have a specific one.
No, I'm trying. I have so many running through my head. It's like, I look at the way that you live your life, just with just a craving adventure, and you're just always in. Zero offense by this, but like a beautiful, like childlike state of just like curiosity and wonder and experience. That's one thing like that I pull from you. Bart Henderson. Bart Henderson it's like a superpower that this guy has, the way that he is able to constantly, and this is something that Dougie Hammond, another friend of mine, they both share this. It's like a superpower, the way that they're able to remember what their friends have going on in their lives, positive or negative, and then check up on them and follow up on them and just remember everything. And Bart does it with the Agora Guild with over 100 guys, and he remembers every detail about everybody. It's almost like the pastor at my church, Pastor Chris Durkin. He's got a congregation of thousands of people, and he remembers all of their prayer requests. So maybe that's like 3 or 4 examples right there of things that I pull from people. But I'll use you. Just your blissful, childlike curiosity and wonder and exploration of the world is just something that's like, how could it not be infectious?
Well, thank you. I was talking the other day. I made a video on Instagram the other day about enthusiasm and how just like our enthusiasm is contagious. Like when you show up with passion and you can put a smile out there, like you end up imparting that to other people and like helping people make the best helping make other people be the best that they can be. So I appreciate you saying that. And last question, I asked Michael as well, the first podcast guest, and is there anything that you would want to leave with people that are younger, the younger generation, as they start to step into their own life and create freedom in their own life and do what they want to do and live life on their own terms, whether it be an entrepreneur, whether it start a business or be an artist or whatever that thing is. Yeah. Is there something that you would leave with those people?
There's no blueprint. Try to figure out where you're uniquely able to do good in the world and then just do it. You can find a way to monetize it. You absolutely can. But find a way that find a way to work and to give in a way that doesn't feel like work and it doesn't feel like you're being robbed. And yeah, I don't know, just try to do good. Like, you don't have to be perfect to do good. So
it's amazing. And I mean, you live it. So it's awesome. Well, this is awesome. I know I appreciate you helping facilitate this. And like, again, we're at Player Coach Studios here in Red Bank. And like, this is something that you helped build and something you helped create and put in the studio together. And like, I commend you for it because this is an awesome space you guys have.
Thank you, dude.
And I'm super excited to do more work over here and collaborate with more people over here, as I just got in this Red Bank area as well.
Yeah,
and
welcome.
I'm sure there's going to be a lot of more collaboration between you and myself as we both continue to blossom into our own business, our own respective businesses. But we find ways to come together when there are opportunities like that.
For sure.
And just thank you for being who you are and sharing your gifts with the world and like putting other people first and like doing good, because that's something I really admire. And yeah, so this was the second episode of the Quantum Leap podcast, and we're talking to entrepreneurs, creators, artists, people I find interesting about their unique take on the world and how they put themselves forward and how they want to be perceived and why they do what they do. And Evan's one of those people. So Evan, is there any place that people should be able to look and find you after the podcast and get connected with you?
Yeah, I mean, you can just hit me up on Instagram. I think it's just Evan R. Farrar or Evan Farrar _. Any questions? Just happy to help. Mm-hmm. So yeah,
awesome. And like I said, Evan and I are collaborating on some stuff, and maybe I can even link a couple of the things that we've created together.
Yeah.
We've done a number of different like brand documentary projects together now, and we've traveled together. We've done a number of different projects, which has been awesome. And cheers to many more as we continue to collaborate. So maybe I'll put a couple of those links to some of the stuff we've collaborated on in the past in the video description. And you can always get connected with me, Cory Englehart, on all platforms, Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn. And I'm sharing myself and I'm dedicated to documenting my journey. And I envision myself creating an organization of creative people and bringing people together, staying inspired and being able to create things that move the world in a positive way, creating a happier, healthier planet Earth. And this is part of that process, bringing people like ourselves together and having these deep conversations, sharing our unique perspectives and our gifts with the world. So thank you again. And we'll see you on the flip side. We'll be posting these every single week from here on out. So thank you.
Awesome. Thank you, bro.
Cool.